this video, we want to look at the principal parts of the hoof and where each of those parts is produced from and what we call the tissue that produces that part. So we'll start out by doing a simple sketch of this median view of a horse's foot and hoof. So we'll start out with the hoof wall. Come back, we've got the white line, the sole, and then frog, back to the bulb of the heel. So there we have the principal parts of the horse's foot and hoof. So now let's put in the areas that will produce that. Now the one thing I haven't drawn in here is the periopal. So we'll put it in a light gray, and it's thicker up at the top. And then it kind of disappears as you come down the face of the hoof wall. So I've drawn it in as a kind of a roughened face and thicker than it really is. The parts that make up the hoof wall are, the parts that make up the hoof are the periopal, the hoof wall, the white line, the sole, and the frog. So we can identify specific parts of the dermis, the living skin, that produces each of those parts, and we're going to draw those in red. Corium, or dermis, that produces the periopal. That's called the perioplic corium. And then directly distal to that, we have the coronary corium, which produces the hoof wall. So it's found in the coronary groove of the proximal border of the hoof wall. Then off the distal end of the calf bone or third phalange, we have a little fringe of material. I've drawn it in a little bit longer than it really is, and we need to put in the white line. So the white line has a certain thickness to it. It should be the same thickness from heel to heel if the horse's hoof is really healthy and he's loading it optimally and it's taken care of in a timely manner. And then the corium that produces that white line is called the terminal papillae of the laminar corium. So it's found right there on this individual. And then moving in a palmar direction, we have the sole corium, which is producing the sole, which is directly below it. So this will be this individual's sole in my diagram. So that's this region here. And then palmar to that, we would have the frog corium, which doesn't appear to show up in our specimen. And that, I believe, is because of how the cadaver leg lies. So the sole corium would be found, the frog corium would be found here. It has to be found here because it's producing the frog. It can't be deeper into the foot above this lighter colored material, which is the digital cushion. So the frog corium has to be found right next door to the frog. So I'm going to put the frog in gray. So now we have the perioplic corium, the coronary corium. So we have perioplic corium, the coronary corium, the terminal papillae of the laminar corium, we have the sole corium, and we have the frog corium. So let's put those in. Okay, So now you can see we have a corresponding corium for each of the parts of the horse's hoof. The perioptic corium, the coronary corium, the terminal papilla of the laminar corium, the sole corium, and the frog corium. Now there is one more corium that doesn't produce hoof material, it attaches hoof material. So all of these on the list are productive corium, that is, they produce hoof. And the last one, the odd one out, is connective corium, and that is the laminar corium of the foot. So the laminar corium is different than the others in that it has the shape of lamina or leaves, where all of the others have the shape of papillae or little nipples. So we need to draw in the laminar corium, and of course it's found on the dorsal face of the third phalange, and it interdigitates with the lamina of the stratum internum of the hoof wall. So now you can see why the corium that produces the white line is called the terminal papillae, because they are papillae that are off the distal border of the lamina that attach the hoof wall to the bone underneath. So we have five principal parts of the hoof: the periopal, the hoof wall, the white line, the sole, and the frog. But we have six identifiable areas of corium. And the reason for the additional one is because the laminar corium is about attachment, not so much about production. The first five are all about production: the perioptic corium, the coronary corium, the terminal papillae of the laminar corium, the sole corium, and the frog corium.